Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to the newest FlyBy. TJ and myself, Joe, are headed on this weekend. This is going to be your not so smart Tum-Tum episode.
Yeah.
We're going to be discussing Three Ninjas, a 90s classic, and Little Giants, a better 90s classic.
Sports, baby. We are all about the
Just
sports.
Sports and some kinesthetics and some mild racism. I don't know. We'll find out. But
Whitewash.
hey, TJ, how's it going? And I want to lead off with the Three Ninjas talk before we even get into any of the Little Giants.
Yes. I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm missing sports. That's why I figured we were doing this episode. Get a little 90s kids fun going. That sounded awful the way I just put that, but let's talk about sports.
Oh man, I think these two movies are some of the that are not named The Sandlot. Some of the pinnacle. They're the 90s blockbuster rental movies.
Easily.
Both. Right. Like, you didn't own them. Or if you did own them, you ripped them from, like, WB on, like, the Sunday movie or whatever, and you had the VHS copy. But they were just, like, they were the junk food movies where they seemed really fun and they flew by. Where I like, compared to The Sandlot, like I'm saying, because I do think that's like the pinnacle of these type of movies.
Yeah.
Because The Sandlot like felt like if you were a kid, you're like, I watch art. This is a film. This is a film.
That's an artsy-fartsy sports kids movie. These ones are more like, if you have them on VHS, you destroy them because you watch them over and over and over again. Especially a guy like me, who was a ninja as a kid. I mean, most kids were. We all thought we were ninjas. So
well,
I mean,
everyone's a ninja right now in quarantine with their face masks.
Oh yeah, that's actually very true.
Yeah. So like, I just lived that day. I'm like, clearly,
Call me Colt.
Colt, Rocky, Tum-Tum.
Tum-Tum.
I was always Tum-Tum because I was the youngest.
No one wanted to. I mean, that's not true.
I didn't want to get into it. It's just who I was. I like candy.
Well, I mean, no one ever wants to be Leonardo, so no one ever wants to be Rocky. So
yeah,
they go ahead.
Rocky loves Emily.
Rocky loves Emily.
All right, so we're gonna talk about Three Ninjas first.
Yes.
If you're not familiar with Flybys, it's just a one-on-one between two of the Flyover members talking about two films that we think pair together well or love or just wanted to talk about. So just that's the premise of what we're about to do.
Yeah, you're gonna get two different movies than what you're used to with these flybys. We've done an artsy fartsy episode with Joe and Yusef on Nicolas Cage, and then the last one was Planet of the Apes with Yusef and Brian. Now you get these two dum-dums talking about sports, baby.
So what I want to start with, like, what was your first experience with Three Ninjas? Like, that I think is more of where a better way to start with this than just like, what you think of the movie? What you think of the cinematography?
I mean, like most boys, I mean, even girls in the 90s, not to leave you guys out, Power Rangers. First, like, introduction to, like, karate and stuff like that. And then that was always like in the morning, right before school. Once you got home, you didn't really have anything for it. And this movie came out in '93. And what probably the worst part about this movie was if you had a younger brother or any younger siblings and you guys watch it together, the whole movie you're watching, but you're fighting throughout the entire movie, like doing the scenes and reenacting. So your parents probably hated you. But this movie made me join karate, get my white belt, and then quit. And that's the easiest belt to get.
My so this was more of like my brother's movie, but like I grew up watching it,
Yeah.
and then all of its sequels. Like, so for me,
Yes.
like 1 through the Hulk Hogan one all just blend together as like this one kind of like hybrid movie. But I remember being a ton of fun chanting the Rockulos Emily and like the masks that they wore and like the intro of that movie when they're like fighting with Grandpa is like
Yeah.
fucking classic. And then I was supposed to look it up and I didn't. That's not the same. That's not a Pat. What's his name from
Morita.
Pat
That
Morita?
is.
No, but I thought so growing up. Is what my
Yeah,
point.
of course. I mean, it's only those two those
I was like, that's Pat. So, and I
Victor
don't
Wong.
want to. I don't want to get too early right now. By the way, what like my adult brain was thinking while watching this. But like as a kid, these were just like fun. It was like I'm gonna watch Three Ninjas. I'm gonna watch Ernest, and then I'm gonna watch. It's probably time for bed. I don't have time to watch one.
By that time. Yeah, man, this movie is just because I don't think it had a big theater hit. I remember it had sequels upon sequels. You had Three Ninjas.
Singles. I remember Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, well, you had Three Ninjas Kick Back, Three Ninjas Knuckle Up, and then Three Ninjas High Noon and Mega Mountain, which is the Hulk Hogan one, and it also has Ernest in it. So it makes sense that you would love that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know his real name in life. Ernest.
Jim Varney.
Yeah, Jim Varney. So I mean, but with like Three Ninjas, I want you to talk about it now. The plot alone is just like I don't know. It's one of those things where like yeah, there's ninjas, but the way they set it up and the way the grandfather's connected to the bad guy and the bad guy's connected to the kid's dad, who is an FBI agent. When you're a kid, you don't pay attention to that. You're just like, yes, punch him, kick him, do something funny, say something funny. But now you're just like, oh, this is like a strung together plot where someone was like, you know what, that's actually smart. We'll connect this guy with this guy and this guy and this guy, and then now you're like, oh, okay, now I'll pay attention to it.
It's it's funny. The movie to me, like now watching, I was like, oh, like all these type of movies, like wow, it's like really. I actually thought it was like I'm like wow, it's really unstructured. Like they just really go from like this scene to something that's not related to then this scene, and then I felt like it was over.
It's only 3 set pieces. It's the grandfather's house, the kid's house, and the ship at the
Like
end.
the warehouse.
Like that's it.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like it was very like to me, like if you were to ask me before you watched, right? I would have been like, oh, it all takes place at the grandfather's house because in my memory, I'm like that intro of them training and giving their names. I do remember their basketball scene, which wow, how risky of those fucking kids to like
Steal a bike.
to steal the
And
bike
then
and then
gamble on school grounds.
and then lose, like be bad enough to lose because like your karate skills don't like translate to basketball.
And those kids definitely smoked cigarettes. You just know kids are bad because they look like they smoke cigarettes. They look like a mini Mark Wahlberg from Basketball Diaries, the one kid. And like he also looked like he was like, I don't know, 10 years older than everybody there. I was like, this kid's huge. Yeah.
I was. Because back then, also, TJ, you get this. Back then, when you saw any of those type of fucking kids, you're like, even the Three Ninja kids, you're like, wow, they're so much older than me.
Yeah.
I
The
wanna
guy
be-
had an earring.
Yeah.
Jason Priestley in 90210, you're just like, ah, man, if I get one good hit and I fall down and just get broken up real fast, I'm going to look real cool if I hit this kid.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's Three Ninja, and it's a fun movie. It's a dress-up movie, like you said. Like, you're going to play ninja after watching that.
Yeah, easily.
But I'll be honest, as an adult, I was like thinking it like too critically. I was like,
Such a problem.
It is. I admit it because I was like, wow, these. I was like, wait, how are these kids this grandfather's children?
But they do it well. They do it well, which you don't notice as a kid because like
No,
you notice
no,
that he's obviously of Asian descent, and then they show a picture of the grandmother who's just this big Dolly Parton blonde
that's what
white
that.
woman, and
Yeah,
they do it
they
real
no,
well doing
they cover their tracks.
Disney.
I
This is
love it.
Disney, remember?
I hate how the father was just completely neglectful and trying to like be like your Asian heritage is terrible.
So, let's do a quick little rundown of the plot, just so we get a little background on these people. Uh, so yes, Victor Wong is the grandfather. He's taking care of 3 kids over the summer. He's obviously had karate training growing up, ninja training. They don't tell you if it's taekwondo, whatever it is. They just call it ninja. Um, he has a son-in-law who's an FBI agent who is chasing a guy named Snyder, who also has like a Raja Ghul uh, band of ninjas for some reason. And because of the father being an FBI agent chasing a guy who has ninjas as his villain, his little goons, he doesn't want the grandfather teaching the kids ninja,
Yeah,
karate, ninja, whatever it is. That's it.
it's so like you know what the plot reminded me of? How silly the plot in Kazam is.
But like, I feel like
You
that's
know,
the
like
magic of these movies.
you know, like in Kazam, how like the whole thing is like the dad is an absentee, like a abandoned dad, and like he's like bootlegging CDs.
Yeah, he's not even in drugs. He's
He's
bootlegging CDs.
yeah, and it's like the mob though. Still, like that's this movie. Like he's so concerned with not Pat Morrow's ninja school that he's like
Yeah.
get these fucking kids. And his
Victor
dad like
Wong.
and the dad's the big crux is the dad's an FBI agent that's like gonna like uncover this dude.
And then you come to find out that later in the story that Victor Wong and the grandfather has trained the bad guy and his ninjas unknowingly that they were bad guys in the first place, which kind of
Wait,
has a
I
thing
thought
with the
this happened
kids
in the
that
first act.
backstory. No, they do the picture thing when they add him up in the picture, and then at the very end, the Snyder guy says, like when he has the kids in the boat, he's like, "You like these ninjas? Your grandfather trained them all." And there's like, "What? My grandfather's bad?" It's like there's just fun shit like that.
Those
Best
kids
part of
were,
this.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying those kids were wishy washy with their morals too, because they're like, my grandpa is bad. We can't, but we're gonna ride it basically protect dad. But then they like flip flop on it, and I'm like, your grandpa's
Also,
good and your dad's good.
they're not great brothers either. They're kind of mean to each other. They tell each other to shut up like every other sentence.
Well, I thought that was part of like their brotherly like we're brothers.
Yeah, and they do come together a lot. They're like, "What are we doing, guys? Grandpa told us that we kind of stick."
Yeah,
It had a lot of those Disney moments at the end of Full House where the music goes, "Da-na-na-na-na," and DJ realized he should
like
have
how
did that drug.
Flyover is. Come on, guys.
Come on,
Come on.
guys. All right, now let's get into it. Rocky, oldest brother. Colt, middle brother. Tum-Tum, youngest brother.
Rocky's
Who's your favorite?
Rocky's the
What?
coolest.
Dude, we're gonna have a fight right now.
I'm sorry.
Rocky is Leonardo. Colt is Raphael. Tum Tum is Michelangelo. Like that's how they set it up.
Okay. I'm Tum Tum.
Okay. Oh, we're doing this like flyover because I'm Colt no matter what.
All right, Colt's cool too. They're all cool except for Tum Tum.
Well, if he's got a new stash of jelly beans,
Yeah, Tum Tum's
which
cool
is
in his own way. Tum Tum's
which is
like the guy that's like, I'm watching trauma movies, and the other two are like, I watch Forrest Gump, and you're like, I'm gonna go hang out with Tum Tum.
Tum Tum's definitely the scapegoat of the family. Like at
Yeah.
some point he's gonna give up karate and just really get into weed. And it's like, Tum Tum, what are you doing, man? It's like, I just took 2 hot pockets and with a Pop Tart in the middle, and shit was good.
Yeah,
It's like,
so
no,
he's
Tum.
an innovator. But I think Colt was low key your coolest.
Yeah.
And like they try to make Rocky cooler, like he's like the Red Ranger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But like Rocky's too full of himself.
Yeah, I mean, they all got to have that one flaw. Like Colt's too angry, and Tum-Tum's too lackadaisical sometimes, and like Rocky's too hard-headed and wants to be the leader all the time. Alpha,
Um,
but
which you are
the
not
best part of this. Oh, yeah,
established.
definitely. Do you have a favorite part of this movie?
Yeah, man, it's the fucking intro. It is the training montage intro, or or everything done with the babysitter.
The best part. The best part of the movie.
The kidnapping scene with the babysitter, and we didn't talk about the kidnappers yet, but the kidnapping scenes with the babysitter in the house and the pizza. Honestly, you know what? Scratch what I said of like the intro where they're training. That's my favorite part as a kid.
Dude, it's the best part of the kid.
As an adult, the fucking intro where they're like, we gotta stop these robbers, and they're just like tricking them left and right. But the robbers are just like also like stoned out of their mind as well. And the kids blatant, like my favorite beat is the kids blatantly do not care about the babysitter.
They forget about her at some point.
Yeah, it's
It was
great.
like, oh yeah.
So that would be my favorite scene. What about you? Like,
Well, I was gonna say that's so the bad guy that hires three hippies, three stoners to kidnap these kids. They're just armed robbers, just like Quickie Marts, and it's probably the best interaction between kids. Because I was gonna say the best part about this movie, which you don't, because obviously Victor Wong is old, a little overweight, so he had a stunt guy doing more than half his stuff.
did he?
I'm pretty. Oh, I mean, there's like 95% of stuff. Just the. Oh. But the kids did all of their stunts. These kids were actually trained, and like in all of the scenes you're seeing them fighting, even though it's kind of slow motion for kids, they're doing everything. You're not like left out. So like when they're doing all this fighting in the house and like all the setups and all the tricks, that was probably my favorite part because like as a kid you're not stupid. You know when like an adult kind of takes place of a kid in a movie for like action scenes like that. But when you're seeing like Colt and Rocky actually fight and they do the diarrhea stuff, that was also a nice Dumb and Dumber. This movie came out before Dumb and Dumber, didn't
No,
it?
after. This is 94.
After? This is 93.
Oh, it came out before.
Or it was 92 actually.
Listen, I was
So they did the X-Lax scene before Dumb and Dumber with the guys in the toilet. You know what I
did?
mean? That's
They
just that's
did.
they set the they set the ground for filmmaking.
They
You know?
set the ground for my favorite movie. You clearly understand the early '90s when I was born. It's still very effective in my life.
Diarrhea. It's like
No, it sounds weird to say. I remember the Three Ninjas and the Three Ninjas franchise vividly. Because my older brother and like it, but still,
well, they have all three kids are in it for the two sequels, and they switch at Knuckle Up and High Noon and Mega Mountain. The only kid who stays consistent throughout all of them is Colt.
I did know that. Yeah,
Yeah, he's the only one who stays out throughout the
but
rest of the film.
but that was easy to happen. I feel like back in the VHS days, right? Like no, like
Yeah.
like it was very presented at a specific age. No one was giving a shit if the kids were changed. And you didn't really like notice. Like I guess Mighty Ducks didn't do that.
No, they switched they switched kids in now, but at some point they were just riding along to what was it, high school?
Well,
or something like that.
they switched teammates, which
Yeah,
is different than kids.
yeah, recasting the kids.
But you're right. I don't know. It's a fun movie. I don't like. Like I don't think I think of this movie and will think of this movie in the regards we're about to talk about our next movie about.
Mhm.
Um, but I think if people are like what's some like great '90s movies that like you just loved and like have a nostalgia for that are in the kid genre, I'm like Three Ninjas is there.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Like if I had a kid and my kid was into martial arts or anything like that, it's like one of those first movies I show him because like there are some cool lessons in there, even though it's like a stupid '90s kid movies.
Well, that's why. Oh,
No
sorry.
bullying. No bullying until it's because I never noticed this until I watched this earlier. I forgot all about it. But the kids from the basketball scene, who steal their bikes and they lose to them again. They have their bikes.
They're the minorities.
I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
they
I'm
fucked
like,
up.
oh, it's over. There's nothing else happening. And at the very end of the movie, they run into the bullies again, and then you're like, here comes a good lesson on bullying and not going down to the bullies level. And they're like, nah, kick the shit out of the bullies. Now he beats the shit out of the bully. You're like, yes, but no.
Ending of Step Brothers.
Yeah, you're like, let me turn this off when my kid sees a bullying. You can actually punch a bully in the nose. I don't see that
But
yet.
no, but it was fun. I have no fuck me over. I have no problem with that. It was fun. It's a fun
Oh
movie.
yeah.
It and because it depicts them as like the weaklings, and they're like, "Yo, we're getting it back." And um, I mean, before I get in the technical side of things, like also a better movie than this, which I think I've said it's one of my favorite movies of the day, and I still watch all the time the same year. Is Heavyweights. Like it's the
Oh
same
yeah.
vibe, but we talked before we jumped on screen. Is the director? I mean, the director's done so much since Three Ninjas, which you said he did Phenomenon, probably closely after this, the National Treasure
National
movies,
Treasure 1 and 2. The Meg.
John Turtletop. Like John
John
Turtletop,
Turtletop.
this like big action director.
While You Were Sleeping, which is a rom-com phenom from the 90s. I think so. I don't know. It's like
Not
that. If Sleep was in Seattle, who knows?
Well, I always get While You Were Sleeping and Hope Floats confused.
I get them all confused. I think is Meg Ryan in it or Sandra Bullock? I know one of them
I
is
thought
probably
Sandra Bullock was in both While You Were Sleeping. I don't know.
probably.
Ryan, fact check us.
You want to think? Know what I think the best part of this movie is, and I saw this fact before we started talking. Obviously they're no older than like 11, maybe 12. Rocky. It's like these kids, they can know all the karate they want, but when you hit a grown adult, you're only going to do so much damage. And the director was even like, that's why we didn't have them fight the
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 adults.
main bad guy at the end, because it's like you can't do that. Like even 3 little kids aren't going to be able to beat that guy up. So they threw that nice little like where they beat up the big fat dude with all those weird like light eyes things. Cool nod, but like obviously you're not going to fight
It's a fun movie. It ain't. It's not your like pristine. I know it sounds weird to say. It's not your pristine kids '90s movie, but it's a fun movie. It's a movie for the parent that said, "Pick what you want out of Blockbuster,"
I
and
feel
they
so
went
bad
back.
for that. I feel so bad for that parent dude because that living room's getting destroyed with the kids
Yeah,
doing high kicks
and
and
they went
shit.
back each week, and they got a large cheese pizza, made some popcorn, and that's this movie. This movie is pure Friday night. Oh, you could have some fun tonight. Movie.
And be prepared to watch it over and over again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not as much as a sleepover movie as our next movie, but it's close.
And let's get right into that, baby. So I first wanted to do this one. I wanted to do sports movies that I grew up on, and this is the coup de grace. People would argue this all the time. Joe kind of did it earlier. We're not going to bring it up again because I think this is the best kids sports movie. It deserves Oscars. It's got a hell of a cast. Baby, we're talking about Little Giants. Let's get right
Oh,
into the pop water.
it's the best. I'm just gonna lead out. It's not. There's no argument here. I mean, like actually, I shouldn't say of the two we're talking about. It's the best.
Yeah.
But Little Giant. I mean, listen. I'm gonna let TJ do the synopsis before I even start. So TJ, just give us a little
All
flavor.
right. We got two brothers in Urbana, Ohio. One brother is a Heisman Trophy winner who actually had a pretty good time growing up with sports and being athletic, and the other one was Joe. He was a little bit weak. He was a little bit scrawnier. That one ended up being Rick Moranis. These two brothers grow up. They have their own successes in life, but obviously Ed O'Neill, who is the other brother, went into the NFL for a short amount of time, probably got hurt, and ended up coming back home and running a Chevrolet place. The one brother, Ed O'Neill, starts his own Pee Wee football team. He cuts a bunch of little outcasts out, and then Rick Moranis takes them under his wing and makes his own team, and we got the Little Giants.
So, listen to your synopsis. Talk about Ed O'Neill here. He wasn't
Yes.
just a football player; he was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Heisman Trophy winner.
Like he's essentially Johnny Manziel.
Easily. He oh man, I could wish I gave off his credits. He does it in the movie. He's like an All-American title, 2 collegiate titles, a national title, and not to mention a Heisman Trophy.
Yeah,
This guy's done it all.
So, but he's not the fucking star of this movie. The star of this movie is Rick Moranis.
Yes.
And Rick Moranis comes in, big dick, swinging, best Rick Moranis there. I love Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis owns a screen like no one else in cinema, and it's so unforgotten.
It's insane how, because Ed O'Neill is a towering man, like he's a huge dude as an actor.
Rick Moranis, I'm like that guy.
When they're standing next to each other and they're having their like brother piffs, you're like, I'm on, like, Rick's kind of got like his thing swinging, man. He's out there just like, you know what? I don't see it your way.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically this entire movie, Rick Moranis has been in the shadow of his brother. His brother comes back to town. His town's like, yes, bring us a Pee Wee football championship, because that's what any place in Ohio wants, because Ohio is a very sad place and a Pee Wee championship will make it very happy.
But they're not fighting for a Pee Wee championship. They're fighting to be the sole team in Urbania.
Correct. That is why Ed O'Neill's invited there. And then Rick Moranis is like, ha, 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 hold up, buddy. Everyone deserves to play. Which, in the 90s, no, they didn't. That's more of a 2000, let's get PC with it. Every kid deserves
early, but
participation trophies.
They had some of those. But God, this movie's fucking great.
Go ahead, you can mention her name.
What?
Icebox, baby.
Icebox. Oh yeah. So there's Icebox, Moranis' daughter, who is the best football player in her band.
Down.
She is a linebacker.
Yeah, she's her Uncle Kevin to the T, which is.
But she's like a multi-tool. Like she could kind of do everything on the team, and she's their best player. But because she's a girl, she gets cut.
Correct.
From the Cowboys, Ed O'Neill's team, and so that requires Rick Moranis to create his own football team, and he casts the outcasts of the town.
And they have a great group of kids too, man.
Oh, they're fun.
From Teddy to man, I can't think of the Volfart. Well, that's what the mean kids call him, Volfart. But
Volfart. Well, I'll make you talk in your butt.
Yeah. When I'm finished with you, you're gonna be talking out of your butt and farting out of your mouth.
And he takes the peanut butter and jelly out of his helmet.
Can't use your helmet as lunchbox, son. It's just guys those moments like that to where, like, I mean, even like when I was a kid, I played Pop Warner football from when I was 5 until high school. So I mean, at some point you
never played.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good. But you do see the kids whose parents kind of force them into it just to do it, because I mean, it's a good way to meet friends and stuff like that. But you know, the kids that don't want to be you can see it in their eyes. They're just like, why am I here? And that's half the other team. So you feel for them at some point too, because you're just like, they have the best player, which is Becky O'Shea, but they also are not known to even know how to play the game. They just want to be out there and be a part of a group.
I think I'm going to jump around here. This movie offers the most fucked up scene in cinema.
Go on.
And then this, hands down, number one.
Oh, wait. I feel like I know where you're going to go. Does it involve the wife?
No.
Okay. I'll save mine then.
It is hands down Icebox upset, and then her uncle telling her, yeah, maybe you shouldn't play football because you're a girl and you should be a cheerleader. You are pretty, but like, leave football. The most fucked up scene in cinema.
Oh, no. He says it. He says it a lot worse than that. He's like. I bet you like that Junior Floyd too. We'll get to him in a minute. 'Cause that's my
Yeah,
favorite character.
no. But you know where I am.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the most. It's like think of any R-rated movie. This is the most manipulative scene in any movie because of their relationship and like where you are.
yeah.
It's like wait, what? Wait, what? Okay.
That guy's
I mean,
probably want to kiss one. You
does
probably
he
want to
stick up
kiss one of
for?
those cheerleaders, not some teammate. And you're just like, wait, dude, what did you just say to
Yeah,
her?
yeah. Most fucked up scene in cinema. Does he stick up for her later in the film? Yeah. Did I
Yes.
cry? Maybe.
The way Ed O'Neill chews gum, he's like, that's our cheerleader. That's my niece. She's pissed. You're like, fuck, Icebox, get him.
He, um,
Can
yeah,
I give
no,
you my most fucked up moment of this movie, which
yeah.
involves Ed O'Neill again and a woman? Ed O'Neill's trying to teach his kids on his team. He's got like 3 of them in his house after dark. Don't know why. And he's trying to teach him how to tackle his niece, who's a girl, and
Nice.
he draws like her likeness on a couch cushion. And he's like, the one kid goes to hit it because the wife's holding it, and the kid bounces off her. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna show you how to do this. Sets his wife up in front of a window. He's like, honey, I'm gonna hit this hard. She's like, no, he's not. He's not gonna take it easy on her. He just goes flying. Which the best part of this, one of the best parts, is he flies out the window. He's like, this guy has no sense of just like anything. He's just like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
he
hit you
should.
really hard.
If he was successful enough, he'd be like a linebackers coach or something like that for a team.
Yeah, there's gotta be a dark backstory to that one.
Anyway, I just wanted to get into that point of the movie because it's one of those things where like it's all blast, but when you like watch it, you're like, oh fuck.
Oh, he's like, you even got the mom who brings the kid in who has like obvious autoimmune diseases and a whole bunch of like Mr. Glass problems. She's like, he should play football. You're like,
Oh, Froggy.
yeah, Froggy. Yeah.
I just always call him Froggy.
Oh,
He was in
no, he's not Froggy from Little Rascals.
No. Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
He is.
Joe, you're having a moment. No, he's in Jack
No,
with Rob
he's
Williams.
Froggy.
All right, if he's Froggy
All right.
from people, we're doing a bet right now. If he's Froggy from Little Rascals, and we're talking about the kid with the glasses from Little Giants who gets a snot bubble, I will do the next episode naked, full on naked. You can only see my nipples, but they'll all be naked. You'll just know it.
All right. I'm looking it up, man. I'm looking it up. You guys are watching real time. You're watching how the sausage is made.
This is the Dum Dum episode. Reminder.
Yeah. It's we're not the smartest. So
Let's see how long we can delay.
yeah.
Yeah, what?
Wait, hold on.
I'm going to fact check you. I'm not looking right now, but I will fact check you if you try to lie to me.
All right, the Little Rascals.
Because I've gained a lot of weight over this quarantine. I really don't want to be naked on screen.
Little Rascals.
My face is so red.
Oh man, I think you know what? We have a Joanna Man moment.
You Orlando Jones this?
Yeah, because
I was
gonna say, yeah, that's the kid from Carpool.
That's just,
You know the weird kid?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was the same kid. It's not.
It's a little kid from Stuart Little. Jonathan Lipnicki.
Yeah,
Just any kid with glasses you thought it was?
well, that kid's not Jonathan Lipnicki, who's the kid that's afraid of getting hit. But that one I'm confident about. But okay, I'm sorry, TJ. They look the same. It's fine.
We forget where we were. I'll edit around all this.
Sure. You should leave it in. FlyBy.
FlyBy, baby. Yeah, we don't fuck around.
But then, but I think we got to talk about the stunted growth and mental disability of Spike.
Whew. Okay, the kids. Let's talk about the kids. This whole movie's based around groups of kids.
Yeah, because I think the only thing you can say about Rick Moranis is that he fucks, and that's it. There's nothing else.
Oh, dude. Patty.
Pulse.
Patty Floyd. Dude, Junior Floyd's mom. Mike. Okay. Junior Floyd, stud. Devin Sawa in the 90s, stud. His mom, my God. Guess who's getting her? Rick Moranis. So, yeah, the kids. You obviously have the group of jock kids. You only get to meet a couple of them. One's the bully from Star Kid, I think it is. And the other kids are all no names. And then you have the outcasts where you have Tad and Teddy and Volfart and the Asian kid who's a kicker. I can't think of his name. And then you get Spike.
Oh, fucking Spike.
Everyone who's ever played Pop Warner football, Joe, obviously you haven't, knows a kid named Spike who's dad.
But I was in PL little kid like wrestling.
Oh yeah, you know Spike then.
And Spike, that he was the same difference.
You don't understand how a kid with a body like that gets to be your size and get to play with y'all, and you're like, he should be in high school. But basically, one of the main parts of this movie, both brothers get their teams together. Obviously, one has a really good team and one has a team with a good quarterback, Junior Floyd. So now they're competing for a running back, and they both get the call from these two old farts in this town restaurant. And they're like, "Hey, this new kid's in town. His dad probably was on an NFL team also," or he's like, "No, he was an army brat."
Yeah,
because his dad's like an army guy. Give me 50.
Puts his arm up.
You introduce this kid, he's carrying a fucking fridge on his back as a 12-year-old, and he's got like fully developed arms and chest and abs. You're like, God damn it. And it's probably the scariest kid in the world. And he gets with Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis lies and said he won the Heisman. He's like, yeah, I'm Kevin O'Shea.
It's so good.
But Spike is probably the scariest fucking kid to this day in any of these kids movies. Like
Spike don't play girl.
He would beat up Fulton and Mighty Ducks probably. Dean Portman also. There's no one tough in the Sandlot. Airbud could probably take him though.
Airbud could take most. Silent but deadly.
Yeah.
Little fly.
Now, do you have a favorite kid in this movie? Or you got something you want to say about Spike?
Oh, I just thought he was a jerk off. That's
Spike
favorite kid.
Oh yeah, Hot Hands Hanen.
Yeah, Hot Hands. That was my favorite kid.
That's a good plot point too, because that's the throwing of the toilet paper.
Yeah, just throwing in the thing, the supermarket. I also like how kind of they gave each kid their own kind of like storyline without getting too into anything. Like
the kid with his dad.
The kid with the dad who he was like, Dad, and he ran in the end zone. Like, it's cute. Like, the movie has its cute moments.
That kid had some moves too for that. I was like, that kid's definitely played football before. You don't learn that stuff out of nowhere, man.
But
you do actually get a weird backstory with like almost every kid.
They give every kid their own through line, and then I don't think we can not talk about this movie. Tell me if I'm jumping too quick.
Man, we're all over the place. Who cares?
I don't think they can't. You can't not think or talk about this movie when John Madden shows up. The bus breaks down. Emmitt Smith shows up, and there is not one single giant that.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the point of this. I mean, you had two cowboys, a Bill. So I can't remember the fucking white guy's name who does the get the fear out of your eyes because
he was just
defensive lineman. But he was on the Cowboys. Emmitt Smith, Bruce Smith, Tim Brown, and is that it? Was it just four of them?
I thought
two Cowboys, Bruce Smith, Tim Brown.
But really, John Madden's the big get.
But it's funny the way they set up because you're like, this movie's based in Ohio. What the hell is a bus full of all-stars? And he's like, yeah, we're trying to get to Canton to the Hall of Fame. And you're like, duh. That makes actually a lot of sense because they're actually all Hall of Fame players except for that one white guy from the Cowboys. But it's like, when that happened, I had this like moment where I went, oh, and ran upstairs and got every football card I could and just laid them out. And I was like, all right, little giant guy, little giant guy, little giant guy, and just had like a book of just all of the same players just because they were in Little Giants. And then I'd be like, Junior Floyd wears number 11 on the Giants.
I
Phil
remember
Simms.
watching this.
You start collecting jerseys as like numbers just because the kids wore them.
I just remember watching this movie. My friends were more like into sports than I was back then. Going to their house and they were Giants fans, and like sleep overnight, little living room they had where you never hung out in, and you watch fucking Little Giants. Their dad was even hyped about it. But that scene when they show up, I think everyone knows it to this day because of the annexation of Puerto Rico.
Yeah. That kid, that kid, I would think was Froggy from Little Rascals.
Okay. Like this movie even had they gave like a coach kid, like a GM kid.
Yeah, because you gotta have a spot for every fucking kid on the team. Even if the kids that he shouldn't be playing football are, but every kid that shouldn't gets their own moment. Like little kid who's malnourished gets his moment where he scores a touchdown and wins the fucking game. You know what I mean? Like
and
shit like that.
And his mom acts like an asshole. She does the Arsenio Hall.
The Voltart's dad is from Teen Wolf and a couple other '80s movies. He's the fat kid on the basketball team in Teen Wolf.
That's his dad?
Yeah, because there's that one part where they're giving the kids nicknames when they're doing the introduction. He's like, the gas man. He's like, the gas man. I don't get it. And the mom's like, think about it. And he's like, oh, because the kid farts a lot. This movie is just like pure. It's got to be Disney. I'm pretty sure both these movies are Disney.
It's not
really?
Disney. Neither
it feels very Disney.
These movies are neither Disney.
No.
Positive.
Sure. I'm not making a bet with you again.
I lost the first one, so
yeah. Well, I'm just gonna leave one to win. I've been winning trivia the last couple of times in this.
All right, so I think this is Fox. Little Giants.
I always remember the castle.
No, because it would be on Disney Plus. Both would be on Disney Plus.
No one has that anymore.
This is Amblin and Warner Brothers.
Okay, that makes sense. It's got an Amblin feel to it. It's got tons of kids.
All right, and then Three Ninjas is too low budget to be Disney. And this is, I want to say it's New Line Cinema, but hold on.
Well, I have this fact about Three Ninjas. Disney felt it was too violent for liking and had to add cartoon sound effects to dial down some scenes and make it more acceptable. Who knows?
Touchstone Pictures.
Ooh. Touchstones.
And that makes sense because I feel like that's where a lot of these movies, like Touchstone made a lot of these type of movies. Like, remember Andre?
Oh, I fucking love Andre with the seal.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's got the little girl from Waterworld in it.
Guys, this isn't a FlyBy anymore. This is just TJ new podcast where we review kids' movies from the 90s.
We're just not even going to talk about Little Giants anymore, guys. We're fucking moving on now. I'm not going to talk about Devon Sawa and his perfectly parted hair and the way he throws a perfect spiral.
Wait, Devon Sawa, I think there's a very pinnacle thing where they have them talk about kissing.
He plays her out just like her uncle did. He does the same thing to her, man. He's just like, if I ever had to kiss a girl ever in my life, it would probably be. And then they named the cheerleader daughter again, and the uncle did the same thing to her.
I mean, listen,
that's just mean. And also, Icebox was a fucking fox, man. And also now even better looking because obviously she's an adult.
She did Skinemax. She did a Skinemax.
She did what?
Icebox, as an adult, did a Skinemax.
What was her name?
I don't know. You just look it up, man.
I'm going to look that up. All right. Well, I'm getting way off track here now. We're talking about a kid movie.
Let's get into a box.
So basically what happens in this movie, let's get right into it. The ending, one of the best parts is the football game between the groups. You have the Dallas Cowboys, the Kevin's Cowboys versus Danny's Little Giants. And It starts off exactly how you expect. A blowout. I think it's like 21-0. The Giants don't even gain a yard to where they make a big deal out of it when they do gain 1 yard. And as they gain a yard, they start
eventually.
Yep, and they get Mr. Momentum is changing his address. Oh, who's the guy who's doing the announcing in that? That's an actual sports guy, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's actually a ton of it's the ending is a ton of fun. The way they really play it out.
Oh yeah.
The announcer, the coaches back and forth. But anyway, back to what you're saying.
The game.
Yeah, the game. It's a good time.
That was fucking deep, show. God,
yeah, no.
Man.
It's they do the whole classic first act like nothing happened. Like they can't do shit. They're getting destroyed. And then like halftime hits. There's honestly actually I like what they do is like they're listening to their other the speech on the other end, just making fun of it. And then like Icebox shows up and they're like, yeah, we're gonna fuck you guys.
No, you're wrong. You're just doing that all backwards, Joe. Okay. In the beginning of the game, they're listening to the other team talk shit, and then Icebox comes in her cheerleading outfit, and then they're like, oh no, we're fucked. Halftime is the classic Rick Moranis one-time speech, where every kid's like, man, I'm gonna pack up and move to Australia, and the other kid's like, I'm never playing football again. And then Danny O'Shea comes in, he's like, hey kids, has there ever been one time you won something? And then one kid's like, yeah, I beat my brother in a turd tossing contest. The other one's like, I beat my brother in a diving contest. One time, baby. That's all it takes. These Cowboys might beat you 99 out of 100 times. What does that leave, Joe?
Just one time.
Thank you, baby. Yeah,
I'm sorry
Danny
I
O'Shea.
got wrong at first.
I was expecting you to get that wrong.
No, man, I've seen this movie.
It is one of the best speeches that I've tried to recreate coaching Pop Warner football. That just doesn't work because kids don't listen to you in the huddle. They don't.
No, TJ, they're not your kids.
They are all my kids.
They're like, who's this homeless guy who we haven't hired and we haven't seen him all season? He just showed up.
The same age as us. Damn it.
Nah, it's a fucking great movie. And then
Sports movie.
And then they have the football game, like it turns around, they fucking kill it, the kids, they run the annexation of Puerto Rico.
I gotta ask Yusef what that means.
It means destruction of Puerto Rico.
I'm not gonna ask Yusef what that means.
Yeah, annexation, like, and then eventually, like I love how what's it, Danny, the Ed O'Neill's? Is it Ed O'Neill's Danny?
No, Kevin is Danny, Kevin is Ed O'Neill. Danny is Rick Moranis.
Okay, sorry. Kevin is like, all right, you can have it, and like Rick Moranis is like clearly like the most reasonable human being in the world. He's like, hey man, I just like wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Like he's like, yeah, like you can put my name on the water tower, like if you really want to give me something. Like I don't want to rob you. I don't want to at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to rob you of your livelihood.
Like so, little
Rick Moranis manages a 2-bit gas station.
That's a landmark in that town. Now Joe's getting to a little just run back. Beginning of the movie, the kids are picking a football team when they're little. Kevin O'Shea's like, me and you, buddy, we're gonna own this town one day. We're gonna have our names on that water tower. And then later in life, because Kevin was a success, his name's on it, not Danny. So after everything that happens, after these two football teams play, Danny's little Giants win, and then he asks Kevin to join his Cowboys with the Giants. And he's just like, I just have one thing. And then they look up at the water tower, and then that music hits, and it's both names on that water tower, and your heart melts.
It's a fucking good movie. Yeah. This movie, it's a bop.
Oh, it's a hard bop.
Like, if you're going to watch 2 of these flybys, watch Little Giants.
And Yeah, and if you're a dad and you want to introduce your kid to a movie, you're gonna have more fun watching Little Giants because you're gonna get Ed O'Neill, you're gonna get Rick Moranis, you're gonna have a little bit more adult themes to it. Where Three Ninjas is more just three kids running around kicking the shit out of people.
Three Ninjas is Blockbuster Sunday night, Friday
Yes. Yeah,
night.
Friday night.
Friday night Blockbuster. You're putting them in the basement, and you're not checking on them until bedtime.
No, absolutely. Make sure you have nothing break.
Little Giants was. Hey, I rented a movie for us for the evening. You're gonna watch
Yeah.
with me.
And that's a
All right,
Sunday.
TJ, do you have anything else you want to add on Little Giants or Three Ninjas?
No, I actually love the fact that you picked Three Ninjas. I mean, originally, I think we were doing this. We are going to do a baseball movie in Little Giants because you're a big baseball guy. I'm a football guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I think in a perfect world, or if we planned it, but remember this is a dumb episode. If we planned it better, it would have been like this Sandlot, or not even a sports movie. Like I think this is the two better parents here.
Yeah,
Sandlot, Little Giants, Three Ninjas, heavyweights.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
when I think of Three Ninjas heavyweights, I think of, I got a Happy Meal and I got like a 5-star dinner when I think of heavyweights. So like a 5-star
Heavyweights.
meal at the best restaurant in Manhattan.
Heavyweights is Disney. You know, if we know one thing, that is definitely Disney. So.
And it's like the first Judd Apatow movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He
And with
produced-
a little bit of Happy Madison dashed in and Stiller.
It has that odd man boy humor to it. Anyway, this is not the podcast for that. That's all I really got to say about these movies. I think you should watch both. I think if you're just going to watch one that holds up and it's timeless, it's Little Giants.
Easily, yeah.
Easily. Three Ninjas is like, if you have children, show them the movie. You're safe to watch with it. It's a fun time. Who cares? Anyway, I'm Joe Chindaga1 on Twitter, Flyover State of Film on everywhere. Listen to us. TJ, what about you?
Yeah, you guys are on Flyover State of Film watching this flyby conversation. Check out Yusef and Brian's latest one of Ape Anniversary, which is the Ape's 50th anniversary. We just dropped our 50th episode of Flyover State of Film, which is a fucking gem. Yeah, guys, just check us out and like and subscribe. Peace.
Bye.